Do you ever feel like your emotions control you? Like one comment, one person, one moment can steal your peace, trigger your anger, or ruin your entire day. You try to stay calm, but your heart races. You tell yourself to walk away, but your pride speaks louder. You wish you could just breathe and let go, but something inside keeps pulling you into the fire. Buddha once said, "Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned." And that's the truth. When you hold on to anger, you're the one suffering. Not them, not the situation, you. But what if you could choose differently? What if your peace wasn't so easily stolen? What if no one had the power to disturb your calm ever again? You can train your mind to remain still, even in the middle of chaos. You can master the art of emotional freedom and finally stop being a prisoner to what others say or do. If you're ready to reclaim your peace and rise above the noise, then let's begin. 1. Watch the fire before it burns you. Anger is like fire, intense, fast, and destructive. When it rises, it feels powerful, almost intoxicating. Your heart races, your vision narrows, your voice sharpens. You feel alive, ready to strike, defend, argue, or destroy. But what we often fail to see in that heated moment is that anger doesn't make us strong. It makes us lose control. It consumes our peace, blinds our wisdom, and leaves behind damage we later regret. Buddha gave us a profound warning. You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. That means anger doesn't wait for some distant karmic consequence. It punishes us instantly. The moment you act out of rage, you suffer. Your words hurt others, yes, but they first poison your inner state. Your calm vanishes. Your clarity dissolves. Your dignity gets lost in the flames. So how do we stop it? By watching the fire before it spreads. It begins subtly. A sharp comment, a disrespectful tone, a betrayal. Suddenly your body reacts, your chest tightens, your breathing becomes shallow, your fists clench. That is the moment of truth. Instead of fueling it, pause, feel it, see it, acknowledge the fire. Say to yourself, here comes the fire. Now step back, don't speak, don't react, just breathe. Let your awareness cool the heat. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, reclaim your center. In Buddhist practice, this is called mindfulness, the sacred pause between stimulus and response. And in that pause, you reclaim your freedom, because fire needs fuel to grow, and if you stop feeding it through your words, your ego, your retaliation, it dies. You become the observer, not the prisoner. You rise above, not burn within. And that is real strength. Not the strength to shout louder, argue harder, or strike faster, but the strength to remain calm in the fire and walk out untouched. Let them rage, let them provoke. You don't have to lose yourself to prove yourself. You are not the fire, you are the stillness behind it. 2. The mirror principle. Nothing is personal. One of the greatest delusions we suffer from is the belief that other people's words and actions are about us. When someone criticizes you, ignores you, insults you, or lashes out, it feels personal. It feels like a direct attack on your worth, your identity, your dignity. But Buddhism teaches something radically freeing. Nothing is personal. Every action, every word, every insult someone throws your way is a reflection of their own inner world, their pain, their fears, their limitations, their conditioning. When someone speaks with anger, they are revealing what's inside of them, not who you are. It's called the mirror principle. People don't see you as you are. They see you through the lens of their own wounds, their own beliefs, their own stories. And so, when you are tempted to argue, defend, or take offense, pause and remember, this is not about me. That one realization can stop the storm. If someone spits venom at you and you don't swallow it, who gets poisoned? They do, not you. The moment you stop taking things personally, you stop giving people power over your peace. You stop allowing external noise to disturb your inner stillness. And here's the truth. People are always projecting. A kind person sees kindness. A jealous person sees threats. An insecure person sees competition. When you understand that, you no longer get dragged into battles that don't belong to you. You let others keep their projections. You walk away clean. So next time someone says something cruel, pause. Don't take the mirror personally. What they see is their reflection, not your truth. This is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's choosing peace over pride. And in that choice, you rise. 3. Return to the breath, return to peace. In moments of conflict, chaos, or emotional turmoil, our minds become scattered and reactive. We get pulled into the storm, into what they said, what they did, what we think should have happened. We lose our footing. We lose our clarity. And most importantly, we lose our center. Buddhism offers a profound and simple truth. Your breath is your anchor. Your breath is your home. And every time life tries to pull you out of yourself, you can return through the breath. When anger rises, your breath shortens. When fear takes over, your breath becomes erratic. When you feel offended or insulted, your body tenses and your breath becomes tight. That's no coincidence. Your breath is the first thing that reflects your inner state, but it is also the first tool you can use to change it. The Buddha taught that awareness of breath, called anapanasati, is the beginning of liberation. Why? Because the breath exists only in the present moment. You can't breathe in the past. You can't breathe in the future. Breath brings you here, now. And when you are fully here, the past has no grip, and the future holds no fear. So next time you're about to react, pause. Before you speak, before you argue, before you let that emotion explode, close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Feel the air enter your body, feel it leave. Do this 3 times. That's all, just 3 conscious breaths. In that space, something shifts. The storm weakens. The urge to react fades. You remember who you are beyond this moment. You remember your power not to control others, but to control yourself. This isn't spiritual fluff, it's neuroscience. Deep, intentional breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It slows your heart rate, calms your brain, and grounds your thoughts. It turns your reaction into reflection, your emotion into wisdom. Make this a daily practice, not just in crisis, but in everyday moments. When you wake up, breathe consciously. When you eat, breathe slowly. When you listen to someone, stay with your breath. The more you return to it, the stronger your center becomes. Because peace is not something you find outside. It's something you return to again and again through your breath. The world will always try to pull you out of yourself. People will challenge you. Situations will trigger you. But as long as you can return to your breath, you can return to peace. You don't need to control the storm. You just need to control where you stand within it. 4. Understand the cause, and you'll end the effect. Everything in life has a root. A flower does not bloom without a seed. A fire does not start without a spark. And anger, frustration, and offense do not arise without a cause. The Buddha taught that if you can understand the cause of your suffering, you can free yourself from its effects. This is the heart of wisdom. When someone offends you, it's natural to react. You feel disrespected. You feel wronged. But instead of going to war with the words, ask a deeper question. What is behind this behavior? Most of the time, people don't hurt you because they're evil. They hurt you because they're hurting. What appears as aggression is often pain in disguise. What seems like pride is often insecurity looking for protection. What looks like coldness may simply be the fear of vulnerability. Buddhism encourages us not to react to symptoms. but to see the root cause. When someone lashes out at you, you have two choices. You can fight the surface, or you can understand the depth. If you fight the surface, you'll only increase the suffering for them and for yourself. But if you look deeper, if you pause and ask, why might they be acting this way? You activate a deeper awareness, one that turns judgment into compassion. This does not mean you excuse bad behavior. It means you stop taking it personally. And when you stop taking it personally, you stop suffering unnecessarily. When a dog barks, you don't bark back. When thunder roars, you don't yell at the sky. You understand the nature of what's happening. You let it pass. In the same way, when someone speaks harshly, look past the sound, look past the tone, look into their condition. Is this person stressed? Are they projecting something from their past? Are they reacting from fear, loss, or pressure? When you understand that every action has a cause, you stop reacting emotionally and start responding intelligently. Buddhism calls this right understanding. It's one of the foundational steps on the path to liberation. Without it, we stay trapped in cycles, arguing, defending, being offended over and over again. But with right understanding, those cycles break. You realize, this is not about me. This is not a battle. This is suffering looking for expression. And once you see suffering for what it is, something powerful happens. You no longer want to add to it. You become calm. You become kind. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise. You choose to be the one who breaks the chain of reaction. You choose not to be another link in the chain of pain. So next time someone says or does something that triggers you, stop and ask, what is the real cause of this? Let understanding be your guide. Let compassion be your shield. Because when you understand the cause, you stop being affected by the noise. You see clearly, you respond calmly, and you stay free. 5. Stop trying to win, and you'll never lose. Most of us grow up in a world that teaches us to win. Win the argument, win the debate, win people over, win respect, win revenge. We carry this mindset into every interaction as if life is a battlefield and every disagreement is a competition that determines our worth. But the Buddha taught something profoundly different. He said, victory breeds hatred. The defeated live in pain. The peaceful live happily, having renounced both victory and defeat. Let that sink in. Real peace doesn't come from winning. It comes from stepping away from the need to win at all. Every time you argue to prove a point, every time you get offended because someone challenged you, every time you raise your voice, not to be understood, but to dominate, you are not becoming stronger, you are becoming more attached. And attachment is the root of suffering. The ego wants to win because it thinks that being right equals being respected, that by proving someone wrong, you prove your value, that by silencing someone else, you become more powerful. But ask yourself, what do you really win when you win an argument? Do you feel lighter, more free, more joyful? Or do you feel tense, exhausted, and still misunderstood? The truth is, even when you win the fight, you lose the peace. Now imagine choosing a different path. Imagine listening without needing to respond, observing without needing to react, letting go of your need to be right, and instead choosing to be still. That stillness is strength. That silence is mastery. That restraint is what gives you back your power. You don't always need the last word. You don't always need to correct someone. You don't always need to fix their opinion of you. Because opinions are like waves. They rise, crash, and disappear. But your inner peace, that's the ocean underneath. That's what matters. Think about the times you've argued with someone just to feel superior. Did it ever truly satisfy you? Or did it simply inflate your ego and drain your energy? Buddhism teaches us to go beyond this false satisfaction. It teaches us that not engaging is not weakness, it's wisdom. Sometimes walking away from the argument is the greatest form of victory, not because you couldn't win, but because you didn't need to. There's a freedom in not needing to win, a lightness in not carrying the weight of proving yourself. When you realize that your peace is more valuable than someone else's opinion, you stop trading it for temporary validation. This shift takes practice. It takes self-awareness. But once you begin to observe your own impulses, the urge to reply, to correct, to defend, you create space. In that space you realize, I don't have to play this game. The Buddha's path is not one of silent suffering, it's the path of conscious detachment. You speak when it brings clarity. You remain silent when it preserves peace. You argue only when truth requires it, and even then you do so without anger. So stop trying to win. Let others have their opinions. Let them think they've won. It's okay. Let go of the tug-of-war rope. When you do, they'll fall into the space you left behind, and you'll walk away free. You'll never lose what you don't cling to, and when you stop needing to win, nothing can ever defeat you. In a world where people are quick to speak, and even quicker to take offense, peace becomes a rare and precious thing. Someone says a word, gives a look, posts a comment, and instantly we feel attacked. We feel insulted, disrespected, provoked. And before we even question it, we react, we defend, we lash out. We carry the offense like a badge, repeating the story to others. Can you believe what they said to me? But Buddhism asks a simple, radical question. What if you didn't take offense in the first place? What if offense wasn't something that happens to you, but something you silently agree to receive? The Buddha gave a powerful metaphor. If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong? The answer is clear. It stays with the giver. The same applies to insult, offense, or provocation. When someone tries to hurt you with words, they are offering you a package filled with their own bitterness, their own frustration, their own pain. If you accept it, if you open it, you take that pain into yourself. You suffer, but if you leave it unopened, you remain untouched. You cannot control what others say, but you can absolutely control what you do with it. Taking offense is not a sign of strength, it's a sign of inner disturbance. It reveals a place within you that is still seeking validation, still defending its identity, still reactive to others' opinions. Let's be honest. How often do we get offended by things that in the grand scheme of life mean nothing? A stranger's rude comment, a family member's sarcasm, a co-worker's dismissive tone. We let these tiny sparks burn holes in our peace. But here's the truth. Offense only lands where there is ego. If someone called you a word that has no meaning to you, say, a nonsense word, you wouldn't react. Why? Because it doesn't hit anything inside you. But when someone says something that touches your pride, your identity, your past, that's when it hurts. Not because of the words themselves, but because of the meaning you give them. So the real question is not, why are people so offensive? But why am I so easily offended? This is where transformation begins. When you take full responsibility for your inner reactions, you reclaim your power. You realize, I don't have to attend every argument I'm invited to. I don't have to respond to every slight. I don't have to carry what someone else is trying to dump on me. This doesn't mean you tolerate abuse. It means you stop internalizing negativity that doesn't belong to you. You can acknowledge disrespect without letting it enter your heart. You can witness cruelty without allowing it to change your character. You can see ignorance for what it is and walk away with your dignity intact. The Dhammapada says, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. That love begins with yourself, with protecting your inner peace so completely that no one can drag you into their storm. Offense is a hook. The moment you bite, you're caught. You argue, you explain, you defend, and now you're stuck in someone else's drama. But when you don't take the bait, the hook disappears. The drama ends before it begins. That's not weakness, that's mastery. So the next time someone tries to offend you, smile inwardly. Say to yourself, that gift's not mine to carry. Stay calm, stay grounded, stay above. Because the most powerful person in the room is not the loudest. It's the one who remains unmoved. 7. Practice noble silence. Speak only when it heals. In a noisy world, silence is often misunderstood. People think if you're silent, you're weak. If you don't speak up, you're surrendering. If you don't argue, you're losing. But Buddhism teaches the opposite. That silence, when chosen consciously, is one of the most powerful acts of self-mastery. There is a type of silence that comes from fear, the silence of suppression, of not knowing what to say, or being too afraid to speak. That is not what we are talking about here. The silence that transforms your life is noble silence. A silence rooted in awareness, in compassion, in power. A silence that says, I don't need to speak just to be heard. I don't need to argue just to feel important. I don't need to react because I have already risen above it. Noble silence is a practice taught by the Buddha himself. He didn't always respond to every question he was asked. He didn't entertain every debate. Sometimes he remained still, silent. And in that silence there was a clarity deeper than any argument could offer. Why? Because speech carries weight. Words are energy, and once spoken they cannot be taken back. They can either heal or harm, uplift or destroy, connect or divide. When you speak without mindfulness, you scatter your energy. You leak your power. You speak to defend the ego, not to express the soul. And in those moments, your words become weapons. But when you learn to speak with purpose, to speak only when your words are necessary, kind and true, then your speech becomes sacred. Before speaking, the Buddha advised asking 3 questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it beneficial? If your words do not pass through all 3 gates, they are better left unspoken. Think about how often we speak out of impulse. We get angry and we react. We feel insulted and we retaliate. We feel anxious, so we fill the air with meaningless talk just to escape the discomfort of silence. But in that endless chatter, we lose ourselves. We lose presence. We lose depth. We drown in noise and forget the peace that only silence can bring. There is immense power in being able to pause, to let someone else finish their sentence without interrupting, to hear something offensive and not respond, to walk away from an argument not because you're defeated, but because you value your peace more than proving a point. This is not easy. The ego will beg you to respond. It will scream, say something. Don't let them get away with that. But the wise one knows that not every battle deserves your voice. Sometimes silence says everything. Silence doesn't mean you agree. It means you choose a higher ground. You don't allow your energy to be hijacked by small minds or loud tempers. And when you do speak, your words carry more weight because they come from a place of clarity, not chaos. In moments of conflict, noble silence allows you to pause, breathe, and choose your response. Instead of reacting from emotion, you respond with wisdom. You speak only if your words will bring resolution, not more fire. Only if your words will serve truth, not ego. And here's something profound. Silence can also be a mirror. When you stop speaking, others are forced to sit with themselves, to reflect, to feel the weight of their own words. Your silence becomes their teacher. Some of the most powerful moments in life are not marked by what was said, but by what was not said. When you learn to sit in silence without discomfort, you become unshakable. You no longer need to fill space with noise. You become comfortable with stillness, with depth, with presence. You begin to hear the subtler wisdom that only arises when the mind is quiet. Buddhist monks train in this. They spend days, even months, in complete silence. Not because they are avoiding the world, but because they are mastering their inner world. And when they finally speak, their words carry the echo of deep presence. You don't need to retreat to a monastery to practice noble silence. You can do it in your daily life. Before replying to a text, pause. Before reacting to a comment, breathe. Before speaking in anger, wait. Ask yourself, will this bring peace or more noise? If it's peace, speak softly. If it's noise, remain silent. This is how you master your energy. This is how you protect your mind. This is how you transform every conversation into a conscious act. Because in the end, silence isn't about saying less. It's about meaning more. Speak only when it heals. Speak only when it uplifts. And when it doesn't, let silence speak for you. 8. Detachment is not indifference. It's inner freedom. Many people misunderstand detachment. They think it means not caring, becoming cold, emotionless, distant. But Buddhism teaches that true detachment is not the absence of feeling. It is the presence of mastery. It is the ability to feel everything deeply without being enslaved by any of it. You see, suffering begins the moment we cling. We cling to opinions. We want to be seen as right. We cling to identity. We want to be respected and admired. We cling to outcomes. We want life to go exactly as we planned. And when any of that is challenged, threatened, or changed, we suffer. Someone criticizes us. We feel attacked. Someone rejects us. We feel unworthy. Something doesn't go our way. We feel anxious or angry because we're holding on too tightly to things we can't control. The Buddha compared this to holding a rope that's burning. The tighter you grip it, the more it burns your hands. But when you let go, you stop the pain. Detachment is letting go of the rope. It means you can engage with life fully, love people fully, do your best fully, without being owned by the results, without needing others to act a certain way in order for you to feel peace. Think about this. When you argue with someone, what's really happening? You're not just exchanging words. You're holding on to a need for control, approval, power, or fairness. You're not simply defending an idea. You're defending your ego. But what if you didn't have to? What if you could walk away, not because you lost, but because you no longer felt the need to win? What if you could let others misunderstand you, not because you don't care, but because you've stopped depending on being understood to feel complete? That's the strength of detachment. Many people confuse detachment with indifference, but they're not the same. Indifference says, I don't care what happens. Detachment says, I care, but I'm not controlled by what happens. You still love. You still show up. You still try. But your peace is no longer tied to the outcome, and because of that, you are free. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering. Every time we tell ourselves, this must go my way, we create the conditions for pain. Life rarely follows our plans. People change, circumstances shift, the future is uncertain. But when you practice detachment, you say, this is my intention, this is my effort, but I release the result. That surrender is not passivity, it's wisdom. It means you stop trying to control what cannot be controlled. You stop expecting others to follow your script. And most importantly, you stop tying your inner peace to things that are always changing. Detachment doesn't mean becoming a passive observer of life. It means becoming a wise and grounded participant, fully present, deeply engaged, and completely free. A detached person doesn't need to argue to feel powerful. They don't need to prove their intelligence or seek approval to feel worthy. They already know who they are. They know where they stand, and they understand what truly matters and what doesn't. Imagine entering any situation without anxiety because you've already decided, I'll do my best and then I'll let it go. Imagine hearing criticism and simply receiving it without feeling the need to defend yourself or fall apart. Imagine loving someone fully without needing them to act a certain way in order for you to feel happy. Imagine facing loss and grief with an open heart, not because you're numb, but because your sense of self was never tied to what was lost. That is the strength of detachment. It's not about feeling less, it's about not being ruled by your feelings. When you reach this inner space, arguments begin to lose their grip on you. Anger comes less often because there's nothing you're clinging to. Offense doesn't hit as hard because your ego is no longer so fragile. You don't feel the need to prove yourself, to react, or to control because you've already found peace within. So, how do you begin to practice detachment? Start by noticing your triggers. Ask yourself, what am I clinging to right now? What belief, expectation, or outcome am I holding on to so tightly that it's causing me pain? Then take a breath. Loosen your grip. Remind yourself, nothing outside of me can control what's within me unless I let it. And from that space, begin to let go. Letting go isn't about giving up on love or effort. It's about releasing obsession, control, and emotional dependence. When you let go, not from bitterness but from clarity, you don't lose anything. In fact, you gain everything. You gain peace, you gain freedom, you gain the strength to move through life without being shaken by every storm. Detachment is not about running from life, it's about stepping into it fully, without fear. It's a space where nothing owns you, and in that space, your true power begins. You've now explored 7 powerful lessons, each one offering a path to deeper peace, greater clarity, and emotional freedom. And if there's one truth that ties them all together, it's this: you are not a slave to your emotions. You are not tied to other people's words. You don't have to react to every insult, defend every belief, or fight every battle. You are free, if you choose to be. In a world filled with noise, anger, and ego, your ability to stay calm is not just rare, it's revolutionary. Your power lies in responding with stillness, in protecting your peace, in walking away without needing to explain. That is true power, not loud or flashy, but deep, quiet, and unshakable. It is the power of the awakened mind. Buddhism doesn't ask you to be perfect. It doesn't demand that you never feel anger or pain. It simply reminds you that in every moment you have a choice: to react or to reflect, to argue or to observe. You always have a choice, to take offense or to stay free. Peace isn't something you stumble upon, it's something you build moment by moment, breath by breath, and choice by choice. So the next time life challenges you, when someone disrespects you, when the world tries to drag you into drama, into noise, into reaction, remember this: you are not here to win arguments. You are here to master yourself. You're not here to take everything personally. You're here to stay grounded in your truth. You're not here to absorb others' negativity. You're here to shine with such calm and clarity that nothing outside of you can shake it. Let this be your practice. Let this be your path, not just in moments of peace, but right in the middle of the storm, because that's where true peace is born.